It's very rewarding, I have to say. I mean, I think I planned for that a long time ago when I was at the university. My background was mainly, or started with interior design in 1998, and then I moved to business. I finished my degree in 2002, and then I continued as well with a second degree in interior design. So kind of like I wanted to save that for my future, and apparently it happened. So in 2010 I quit my corporate role in the marketing and communication, and I went into my new journey in design. It's been a challenging journey, I have to say, because in 2010 I think it was a very early start for design in general as a design industry in the UAE. So kind of like I felt I was alone shouting about design as a local Emirati voice of design as well. I was named different titles and being carpenters and someone who's being a sculptor and many different understanding of what I'm doing exactly. But I was very focused. I wanted to educate and at the same time build my own career in design, and I wouldn't say I'm ripening the fruit yet. I think I'm seeing great advancements in the industry. I see a lot of encouragement from the community, from the people who surround me, and from even the new people or the newcomers who's looking at me as being example, or looking at my story as being something that could inspire them or could them make decisions for their own future. So I think this is very rewarding. I think it's always about how I started, how I decided to take design and make it as a full-time career. People know they are aware of the challenges. They are aware of how much we can expose our product, how much we can sell, and how much we can get a return. And this is where their fears and concerns come. So they are asking me of how I made it. Frankly speaking, I always tell them, like, I don't think so I am a perfect example for this, because most of these questions come from students who just graduated, and that wasn't my situation. I mean, I graduated, I worked in the corporate industry for 8 years, and then I decided. So kind of like I built a kind of confidence. I saved. I kind of like planned that. So it's been 8 years of planning this. It's not out of nowhere. I didn't finish school and jump into the industry. But for them, they are asking me this: how to start it immediately after. I don't want to always advise them to follow the same route, to go and work and forget about design. But I need to be clear and honest with them, because I don't want them to be shocked with the industry or get disappointed. So I have to be clear. There's a lot of challenges, but you need to have a vision. And this is where I always advise them to have a clear vision. What do you want to be? Where you want to be? And then patience, because I think what the newcomers is lacking that. They look at fast and speedy kind of growth, fast results, but that doesn't happen. I mean, even us to lead the way or to become a designer or established designers in a way, it takes us long time to, and I still have years in front of me to come until I reach to that limit. But we need to have patience. We need to have patience with the industry, with the development we have. The move was, again, I think, because of the lack of proper education or available education, let's say, in the region for this particular industry. I'm talking about product design, furniture design. I did graduate from the American University in Dubai here with an interior design degree and with a business. But I think with the interior design degree, I used to know the design of the spaces more than the design of the product. I had courses in furniture design, which I think led me to decide on being a furniture designer than an interior designer. But when I wanted to specialize in that, I couldn't find any place or any great direction or positive direction for me to move on while being based here. So I needed to find my way. I started with UK. In London, I took some courses in Central St. Martin, but then I needed even a further education, more practical in the way of making furniture, to understand that background. And I had very limited choices, even abroad. I mean, with the kind of study I did in New Zealand, it was only available in two other places. It was time matters for me to start as early as I can, and New Zealand was the choice. I don't regret it, but I would say I would definitely, maybe if time goes back, I would maybe definitely study product design from the beginning in school, knowing that I want to be onto that in the future. This is very true. I think I lived it, I experienced it when I was in the school, in the university, during the interior design major. I had lots of fellows and colleagues within my class, or classmates with me. When we reached to that senior project, or the last project we have to submit, it was that lack of presentation they could do. They couldn't persuade me or anyone else of their projects, although I have to say, I admit that their project maybe were much better than mine. But I think at that time as well, I was working in the business industry, so I kind of like know or have the know-how of how sales and persuasion can be, what kind of language we could use in our presentation, and the way we present the project. So I think this is something I felt and lived it, and this is where I even went back to my faculty and instructors, and I advised them to add a few additional courses, like business courses within the curriculum, kind of like portfolio presentations, and what is the let's say the basics of presentation, because true, exactly as you say, that a lot of creators have great design talent, but they don't have the know-how of how to present it, how to convince the customer with their approach, with their design philosophy, and that's very important. So I think I'm lucky. It took me a while to jump into that career, but I don't regret that distance, because I think I benefit from something else as well, which is helping me now in my design career. I wouldn't compare anyone with my idol in design, the Campana brothers. I mean, these are the brothers from Brazil, which I actually spent a week with them in their studio in Sao Paulo during Abu Dhabi Art in 2010, creating a joint installation with them. But I used to follow their work earlier, and until now they are my idol. And I really feel there is that connection with what they do, what their philosophy in design, and what I want to achieve as well within my career as well. There's nothing from the Campana brothers that I see, either it's been an in-house production or something that's been produced by international companies, that doesn't have the Brazilian spirit into it. It's to the absolute contemporary in terms of design, but there's always that story of Brazil within their production, within their design aesthetic, and this is something I really reflect on a lot with my creation. I always love to have that feel or sense of Emirati heritage and history within my designs. Not too obvious, but very subtle, and still my designs to be very contemporary in a way. And I think this is this is what I found with their creation and with their philosophy. So I would say they are my best. There is too many, I would say, young designers or younger designers that I follow their work. I admire their journeys. Lee Broom from UK, I would say Martino Gamper, one of my favorite. Constantine Gracias, I think it's like he's one of my let's say people that, or one of the designers that I really look at his work. Nika Zupank. There's many, I think I would list. It's the only thing I would say of how, when we even look at other designers' work and inspirations, is how to reflect on our own journeys. It's not a matter of getting influenced by them, because that could affect our outcome as well. But I think it's better to look at everyone's journey and be aware of what's going on around. When it comes to me, I think I'm looking at these as what's going on, to update myself of what's going on around. But if I would look at a pure journey influencer, it will be the Campana brothers. Definitely, I mean, part of my journey as well, being a designer, I do the curation for design exhibition. I did curate it in the past, Islamopolitan, with Giuseppe Muscatello and Maraya Art Center in Sharjah. That was a great success, an exhibition that toured 4 or 5 international cities. It's been there for like 3 years. And I'm going back to this experience again with UAE Design Stories, which we are presenting next week in Milan Design Week. and that will be the first Emirati showcase with Emirati designers, curated by Emirati product designer as well, in Milan as a major international design event. I also have at the same time a second collaboration with Lasbit that will be launched in Milan after what I launched with them in Dubai Design Week. This is my first, I would say, intervention with glassware and glass objects. I do in preparing the next edition of DRAC for Dubai Design Week in November. We do have two stories or two chapters of UAE design stories that will happen in London and then in Dubai, which I will be curating as well. Totally different stories, so it's totally different exhibitions. And I'm working on two new collections. They are part of new collaborations as well I'm establishing, hopefully by end of this year, if not early 2019. This is definitely something, I mean, the gallery was there. It's just like I think I needed to renovate that and bring new spirit to it. So I hope after the summer we'll have a new location or a new meeting point in Ras Al Khor where you can discover new Emirati design, but then we can discuss and meet.